surprisingly enough, the closest thing that we have here in the real world to a Saiyan from Dragon Ball Z is a Mexican. You get it right
How?
because the whole well, mostly when you think about it, when it comes to Mexicans, throughout history, they've always been warriors, depending on which time you're. Well, how should I explain this? Well, the only things that I could probably reply is the amount of freaking wars that have been fought inside of the terrain of Mexico. But that's just my opinion. The more you think about it, what do you think? Is that true?
Man, you have no idea what you're talking about, boy. No.
You just had to go full redneck.
Yeah.
You just had to go full redneck.
Oh my God! I can't believe I'd hear some bullshit coming out of your mouth like that.
What you doing? I'm driving a truck. Ooh, what kind of truck? Your truck. Oh yeah, that's a nice truck. You right, mother trucker.
I drive a Ford Ram.
You drive
That
a
is
Ford
all.
Ram?
Home Depot, where doers get doing done.
Wait, hold up. Now I'm thinking about it. You just said Ford Ram. The Rams are made by Dodge.
I know, that was the point. It was supposed to be stupid.
What the fuck, man? Well, at least now we know who the
Anyways,
smart one is out of all of us.
hey,
Hey,
okay. Hey, hang on. No, we ain't started yet. We ain't starting this shit yet. We got some business to handle. I'm driving to your house right now. No.
Come on, bro. I'm crazy.
Bro, imagine though, like you're just like I literally just like stop what I'm doing, and you're still continuing what could you you still continue doing what you're doing, and then all of a sudden you just hear screams, and you're like, oh shit, he's here, oh fuck, and that's it.
Ah, man, dude. You know what that reminds me of? Actually, wait, I don't think I should probably bring this up. Only because I don't really remember if this was freaking, or better yet, I don't even think you've actually seen this video, but like a long time ago, when FaZe Clan was like still starting to pop off and they were still like youngsters playing video games. Do you remember the one video when they're the life at the FaZe house?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so then you remember the whole, if you don't calm down in the next 5 seconds, I'm gonna walk downstairs, I'm unplugging the router, and I'm making you fucking eat it. I'm not kidding. I'm actually gonna do it. Freaking doesn't do it. And actually goes up, shows up with the router, and then goes, all right, motherfucker, you ready? Dude,
shit.
everybody tried so hard to be in FaZe Clan, even us.
Honestly.
All right,
My
welcome to the
goodness.
podcast for the second time. I'm Miguel Perez, aka Enygma, and
I'm Laine Colins, aka Tahoe Born Colin.
yeah, I think this is the first time you've ever actually introduced yourself by your username. Because here's the crazy thing: some of our other listeners have accidentally pronounced your name as Tahoe Born Colin. Yeah, it's not a Colin. And even Tahoe Born colon.
Oh God, bro. Okay, all right. Let me get this straight real quick.
Please do.
Colin, I'm okay with, because even if the G is silent, that's fine. That's honestly, it's fine by me. I don't mind it because you're still getting the last name correct, but at the same time, it still sounds okay. Now, if you're saying colon, buddy, you don't know how to spell. I'm sorry. No. No. But if you're gonna go that direction with it, just go calling or Colin. Either one is fine. If you say colon, just stop. Just stop.
All
Get
right.
some help.
Now, one more time, for those that, well, to better, well, how should I say this? To better understand how to pronounce your username.
So it's basically Tahoe born calling. So Colling. But either way, if it's either calling or Colin, fine by me. If you're saying colon, then
You're dead to me.
I was gonna say you just sound kind of dumb, but I'm not gonna be mean. I'm not gonna be mean. You don't sound dumb. You just sound silly. That's how it be.
Wow, way to make me look like the bad guy.
Hey, you know what? Maybe I am the bad guy. Maybe this is the reason why I've always liked Seto Kaiba over Yugi Moto, because you know what? To be honest, if I had to play the good guy or the bad guy, I'd love playing the bad guy.
Dude, I think everybody would love to be the bad guy. Even changing the topic to, I guess, like in media in general, like in a movie, in a video game, everybody would like to be the bad guy because you get so much more freedom than if you were to play the good guy. The good guy, you're always like so moral and you got to play by the rules. Whereas the bad guys, they can just do whatever the hell they want.
Yep, true that. I mean, I think just adding to that, I feel that's why, for example, for wrestling purposes, heels slash bad guys always have the upper hand because they have more creative freedom, whereas faces slash good guys, they kind of, there's like so much you could really do without bugging the wrong person. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and that's exactly why I would love to play the bad guy, bro. Love to do it.
Dude, here's the thing. The bad guys are really they're pretty much what make the story. Well, in some stories, specifically, oh wait, actually, we might as well just start talking about some of the games that we played growing up that have actually uh stuck with us and left a good impact. In my case, it would have to be, well, the first one that we should probably talk about is the Far Cry series. Specifically for me, it would have to be Far Cry 3.
Far Cry 3 was really, really good.
Dude, it was amazing. But here's the thing. Voss, who was a freaking psychopath and one of the villains in the game, he did not have a lot of screen time when you replay it, but the little time that he had on the screen, he left a lasting impression on anybody that played it.
That's true.
And okay, I feel like this might be a little how should I say this? Wait, I've just been repeating that same sentence. You know what? I'm just gonna speak my mind. So the one speech that he made of "Do you know the definition of insanity?" That right there was perhaps some of the best writing that Ubisoft has ever written for a villain. And I really do. I kind of do wish that they carried something else over with Pagan Min in Far Cry 4. But I don't know. I mean, as much as I love Troy Baker as the voice of Pagan Min for Far Cry 4, I'm sorry, but it did not hit as hard as Far Cry 3. What do you think?
Yeah, I got to agree on that one. I really do. It's a tough comparison, but it just sometimes be that way.
Although here's a mission that I keep replaying a lot, or kept replaying a lot, and that was the when you first get the flamethrower. Oh wait, maybe I should say spoilers for those who didn't play the game. Even though we did technically we should have said it sooner. It's better late than never.
True.
But there is a mission in Far Cry in which well, what you're supposed to do with that flamethrower is you're supposed to go out of your way to burn down a weed garden. Talking about full on cannabis, 420 blaze it. And I think all of us had ended up making this mistake. I know for a fact you did too, and that is just starting right away with the flamethrower.
Yep.
We all made this mistake, especially when we heard Skrillex, which I don't understand why the hell they got Skrillex out of all the artists they could have thought of. It had to be Skrillex. And next thing you know, when you're burning everything down, you start getting the entire screen just goes all wobbly and blurry, and you see so many colors. And I love the line, "Oh fuck, I should have thought this through," because you definitely should have.
Mm-hmm.
We all made that mistake once.
Yeah, true that. I've not been like the biggest fan on Far Cry games, but I cannot also say that I didn't enjoy the games. I enjoyed playing a lot of the Far Cry games. The first Far Cry game actually that I got into was Far Cry Primal. I played that with my brother, and we enjoyed that shit a lot. So I started playing the other Far Cry games to kind of see what was up. Even the newest one was actually pretty good. I haven't beaten it, unfortunately. I've only played like a little bit of it so far, but the newest one was really good too. I was really feeling that shit. I got pretty lucky too. It came out for free, I think, for like Xbox Game Pass or something like that. They had like a discount sale going on, so I was like, "Ooh, let me grab that." But yeah, it was fun.
Okay, here's the thing. When it comes to gaming, our tastes are a little different, but there are a few things that we do. Oh, enjoy. I just remembered. Well, PETA probably hates Ubisoft for this. You said you the latest one. As of recording of this episode, the latest Far Cry game that has come out is called Far Cry 6.
Correct.
Please tell me that you've played the quote unquote fighting game mode that is in Far Cry 6.
No.
Damn it!
Unfortunately, I have not.
Should I say it or should I not?
Go ahead and say it. It's okay.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. So this made me laugh so hard, but in Far Cry 6, there is a quote unquote fighting game mode. It's like a mini game that you can play when you're inside of the main campaign.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing that made me laugh. The quote unquote characters that you pick are chickens.
Oh God.
It's literal cockfighting, and you're actually fighting. It's functions just like a fighting game.
That's wild. Never would have thought.
Yo, as soon as I saw that, I lost it. I couldn't take the game seriously. I was just having so much fun just playing that. I didn't even bother finishing the game. I just kept playing those the cockfighting mini game.
That's funny. I'll have to check that out. I'm surprised that I probably saw it at one point, but I never like actually. I was more just interested in playing the campaign mode, so I just kept up with that. But yeah, I gotta check that out. That's funny.
Dude, you gotta try to speedrun the campaign to get that mini game. You gotta get to that point, man. It's funny.
I
And
believe it.
speaking of fighting games, Laine, you have quite a resume, not a resume, a repertoire when it comes to fighting games. Specifically, what was the one game that you grinded out the most?
Hmm. Probably Smash Bros. Probably Smash Bros. Just because I almost said Mortal Kombat. I almost did because I used to play the shit out of Mortal Kombat 9 and 10. 9 and 10 I just loved, especially 10. But I think Smash Bros. I played a lot more frequently. Just getting to play with you and Eduardo and the rest of the boys, shit was fun, man. Uh, I can say one thing though. The best player out of our whole friend group, Eduardo, 100%. He was always the best. He always had. He was always a challenge. He was always a real good challenge, and hardly really anybody fucking beat him too. Come to think of it, I know I got him a couple of times. You got him a couple of times, but he's on it, man. He really. I could tell he was more on it with just crazy combos and shit like that. And I feel like he probably did his research and stuff like that on YouTube and whatnot. So that definitely helps a lot. But yeah, no, I used to be a grindy motherfucker on Smash Bros. For sure. I don't really play it a lot anymore recently, but I'll still play it from time to time just for shits and giggles.
And here's the
And
crazy thing about that too. So, uh, he actually made it to the semi-pros.
oh, really?
He competed in a lot of tournaments, and the highest place that he ended up getting is fourth place.
Oh, damn. I believe
Un-
it.
Unfortunately, here's the thing about Smash Bros. So, um, a lot of us in our main group, we play a lot of video games. That pretty much shouldn't be that big of a case, but the way that we play is a little different. So, in your case, and pretty much in everybody else's, everybody just plays them more casually as like a fun get together. Whereas Eduardo and myself, we play them competitively. Meaning there's a lot of stuff that we have to practice on. We put in a lot of time in polishing up what our techniques, what we're supposed to do, what we're not supposed to do, setting up our controllers so that they're tournament ready, understanding what the rules are. We're playing competitively. And here's the thing about Smash Bros. Although there were a lot of tournaments that were held, the biggest issue with Smash Bros. When it comes to competitiveness is Nintendo. They don't allow tournaments to be hosted at all. Even the quote unquote pro Smash Bros. Players are technically not considered pros because Nintendo doesn't endorse any form of competition when it comes to Smash Bros. And the reason for that is because it was never made to be a competitive game. It was always made to be a casual game. And as its life cycle went on, eventually people found a way to make it competitive.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
But things have actually changed, turned around a little bit. First things first, he's currently grinding out another game, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But right now, as of I don't even think it was as of late. I think it was like a while ago. Another company called Panda is actually the Panda Gaming was approached by Nintendo to host competitive stuff. So now, if you want to compete at the competitive level for Smash, you have to go through Panda Gaming.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely don't feel surprised about that with Eduardo because, like I said, man, he just so good. He was just so good. Um, Everybody else really just like could not figure him out. I really couldn't figure him out that much. He just knew his shit. He knew his shit, and that was it. Um, and that's what. So I was gonna add on with Mortal Kombat 9 and 10. Mortal Kombat 9, I think, was definitely more. I played that for the story mode, but I did play with friends from time to time. But once Mortal Kombat 10 came out, that's when I actually started playing a little bit more seriously and playing a lot of online matches against other people. And it was fun, but what was not fun is certain players doing the same move over and over and over again. That was the
The
biggest
cheap fighting
issue.
combo. A cheap
Yeah.
fighting combo.
Yeah, it's just bad. You just don't keep it interesting when you do that. But I mean, if that's how you feel like you can be the best you can at a game, then I mean, sure, go ahead, do that. But in my opinion, I just don't see the fun in it. That's all. That's just me personally. But yeah, I can't remember specifically what my win-loss record was. It was very, very good. I definitely had like double the amount of wins over losses for sure. But um my favorite character to play for sure, which I will fully admit, Aaron Black, broken as fuck.
Until they patched
One
them
of
up.
the yeah, until they patched him up, especially in Mortal Kombat 11. Excuse me, I'm for some reason getting hiccups at the moment. But Mortal Kombat 10, holy shit, dude was broken. There's a specific combo where you could not really stop it. Like as soon as the combo starts, you're fucked. You kind of just have to eat the damage and just deal with it. I've made several people quit with it too, and it was just. I felt bad, but I didn't. It was just kind of one of those situations. Another character I'd probably play on Mortal Kombat 10. Um, I was a Sub-Zero type of guy. I loved playing Sub-Zero on Mortal Kombat 10. Not necessarily 11. They did a lot of different shit with him in 11, but 10, ooh, he was fast. His attacks were strong. Like he was just very balanced out.
Man. I remember those days too. I actually tried, but I could not catch up with you in Mortal Kombat 9 or 10. And here's the thing. Going over the characters that I used during that time, I've always stuck with Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is my main. And I got close, but I couldn't really keep up with you. It wasn't up until I started playing Cassie Cage in Mortal Kombat 10
Mm-hmm.
that I was able to truly keep up. Literally anybody within the quote unquote Cage family, Sonya Blade, Cassie Cage, Johnny Cage, those were three what characters were the ones that I would always use in playing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I agree with you on Johnny Cage especially. I didn't really play him a lot in 10, but on 11, he happened to just be my favorite character to play, which is just it felt odd because like his personality I always kind of had not an issue with. I just know like in the back of my mind I was like, man, he's got a cocky fucking attitude. But so personality wise, I never liked Johnny Cage like that, but for some reason, he's just very easy to figure out in Mortal Kombat 11. So he's kind of my guy on 11. If I had to pick a second character, probably Sub-Zero again. Um, he's definitely not as good as he would be in 10, but still balanced out. Still a balanced out character to play.
And speaking of Mortal Kombat, there's well, it's 2023, so that means this year is absolutely insane because when it comes to the fighting game genre, we're getting a lot of new releases. And I think you might be happy that we're getting Mortal Kombat 1. Technically, it's Mortal Kombat 12.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero and Scorpion are going to be returning like always, except they've changed a lot of stuff with you have played the Aftermath storyline, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of the biggest changes that I personally think is really cool. And that is the fact that the whole clan rivalry is gone with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Because now they're both from the same clan. They're brothers. Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, good. I thought my mic cut out for a second, or that the call got disconnected. Oh,
Yeah,
well.
no.
But yeah, I think that's really cool. I'm also happy that, well, Johnny Cage isn't going anywhere. Because, well, Johnny's my guy. He's my boy. I need him in Mortal Kombat. Otherwise, I won't be able to move on. But
True.
here's the thing. Although, in your case, with Mortal Kombat, that was your best game. There's another fighting game that the two of us played together that was a complete reversal. In Mortal Kombat, I could never, or I could barely catch up with you when it came to the gameplay. But in Tekken, the whole thing was reversed. You could never catch up to me.
Yeah, it took a while. It really did. Like, it got me motivated to. God, this is where I kind of hate my competitiveness sometimes because I'm like, man, I wish I could just chill out. But yeah, with that situation, I loved the game when you showed me the first time, and I was like, damn, he's really good though. I really need to fucking practice. Same thing with Eduardo. Like, both of you were really fucking good. So it got to the point where like they both showed me this game, and I was like, ooh, I want to get this shit for myself. So got myself a copy on the PlayStation 4. Really wish I still had it. I don't know what happened, like why. I think I just sold it is my assumption, because the point where Miguel and I had our falling out, I just kind of stopped playing it for the longest time, so I kind of just like gave up on it. But either way, very fun game. It was a very fun game. I actually had a conversation about Tekken recently, and obviously they're coming out with the new Tekken in a few months, right?
Yes.
Yes. So talking about that, I was like, oh, okay, great. Because I thought about rebuying Tekken 7, but now that the new one is coming out, I was like, all right, I'll wait. It'll be worth it. I know it's going to be worth it. So yeah, if you're looking for any sort of fighting game that you really want to get into, Tekken is really, really, really good one. Very fun to watch too, as far as like esports goes. Man, there's some pro gamers out there that are fucking crazy on that game. Like, I was sitting here thinking like us three were good at the game, but I'm like, nope, we ain't even close. But
And here's the crazy thing too. When it comes to Tekken, well, specifically when I introduced you to Tekken, it was during Tekken 7, but I've been playing Tekken since Tekken 6 actually. No, wait, not Tekken 6. Tekken 4. So I was playing for a while.
yeah, that's
And
true.
here's a big reason as to why, well, you struggled with it. And it's also something that I should probably mention in case anybody wants to give it a shot. Unlike Mortal Kombat, which was primarily two-dimensional, I know that technically they're 3D graphics, but the gameplay itself is two-dimensional. Tekken is perhaps one of the few fighting games that is three-dimensional, meaning the entire arena is going to spin depending on where you're moving. And that's one of the biggest things that as a new player, you have to learn how to use. You got to learn how to. You got to learn how to navigate a 3D environment, which is something that uh, you struggle with a lot.
Yeah, I would say comparing so like Mortal Kombat for example, I felt that it was very aggressive. You have to be aggressive. If you're not aggressive, you're going to get played with real quickly and certain players will take advantage and they'll keep going. They'll fucking keep going. Whereas Tekken I feel like it's a little bit more balanced out. You definitely should be a little bit more on the defensive side, but at the same time, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to make a move. You know, don't be the guy to fucking wait for the other guy to make a move and then you do something. It's just like sometimes you got to take risks, but it's a good in between where it's like you could take risks without really doing anything too badly.
It's why Tekken is considered one of the better fighting games if you're going to be competing in something.
Yep.
Given our competitive nature, I think it all started during the Call of Duty franchise when we truly truly started our competitiveness.
Honestly.
Here, it's not just with us. Like in general, when it comes to like all the friends that we made growing up, Call of Duty was the one game that everybody was trying to get good at just so we could one up each other.
Yeah.
And here's a crazy thing. With every single year that they dropped another COD, given it during the times that we were playing, I ended up getting into Call of Duty because my cousins growing up, they had the game consoles that I wish I had. Unfortunately, due to some circumstances, I was not unable to get any of those consoles until later on in their life cycle. And the way that I got it, my first Xbox was actually pretty cool. I think I told you this, how I ended up finding the pieces of an Xbox 360 and I put it back together and fixed it myself. That's how I got my first Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
And literally right after that, one of my friends who was already like really close, he did not have to do this to me, but I'm glad he did. He ended up giving me my first PS3 too.
That's true. Yeah. Uh, just to compare that whole scenario. So one time, I know you know this story, but for anybody else that's interested, so there was one time, uh, fuck, I want to say it was like kind of near 2019. My brother and I were thinking of getting an Xbox, like a newer gen Xbox. Keep in mind, it was like the one series kind of around that point on. So we had a couple of years until the Series S and the X came out. But yeah, we really wanted to fucking get a new Xbox because everyone else that we knew had Xbox. So I got myself my own Xbox at one point, and my brother though, how he got his Xbox. So if anybody remembers, there was a Taco Bell sweepstake where if I think you spent like $5 or more or something like that for it's like a lunch box that they had of some sorts. You get a raffle to win an Xbox. And of course, I couldn't believe it, but Chris actually won, and the Xbox came in like 2 or 3 days. So he wins a free fucking Xbox, which also, this Xbox, when you turn it on, makes the Taco Bell fucking sound, bro. Like, look this shit up, guys. You have to. If you haven't heard of this shit, you have to look it up. I mean, honestly, and he still has the console today. Like, it's got to be worth some
He
fucking
better
money, dude.
no, he better not get rid of it. He better not get rid of it. He better keep
No,
it.
no, he's keeping it. He's keeping it 100%. But I'm just saying in general, if there was ever a situation where he needed money, oh, fucking A, man. He could make something with that shit easily. But yeah, no, dude, I laughed so hard the first time I heard that shit because I was like, I just was mind boggled because I was like, wait, did that just come from your Xbox? And he was like, "Yep." I'm like, "I fucking hate you."
Dude,
I
you called me
just,
like right away after that. Like I
yep,
remember that correctly. Like I was minding my own business and all of a sudden you freaking call my phone, I pick up, and then when I say hello, you're like, "Hey, guess what? My brother just won the fucking Taco Bell Xbox sweepstakes." And it makes the bell noise. You were freaking out so hard.
dude, it's just some wild shit, man. That was just some fucking crazy shit.
Dude,
But
the luck that your brother has is absolutely uh ridiculous.
well, to be fair, I feel like my brother's luck is just shit a lot sometimes. More than like I would say like 60% of the time his luck is probably just horrible. But the 40% is like moments like that where he just wins a Taco Bell Xbox and I was just like it just brings me back to the points where you and Eduardo would fucking have the luckiest shit as far as pulling Yu-Gi-Oh cards go, and I'm just like, I hate all of you. Why can't I get a break when I fucking have some sweepstake bullshit going on?
Dude, I think my luck is a little weird. So here's okay. We're getting off topic, but I gotta tell this story because I think it's kind of funny. So there was a while ago, one of my very first jobs, which I absolutely hated. I just this one day I had like such a terrible day dealing with customers and then having to deal with other people's BS, and I was under a lot of stress, and out of nowhere I just said, "You know what? For my break, I think I might as well just go and just like grab some grab something from a local convenience store." No, it wasn't a convenience store. It was a Rite Aid. What am I saying? I go in there, I grab some ice cream, and then I grabbed a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And right there, uh, first things first, I finished my ice cream because I didn't want to ruin my cards. I had very low expectations because of how shit my day was. And then I opened the card, I opened the box. The first card that I ended up pulling was a freaking Borolo dragon, which at the time was very expensive. And I went, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" At that point, I was like freaking out because no, wait, that wasn't a box. It was a pack. I literally spent $3 and I made like not even three times my money. I was like, I made immediately, I made back like X amounts of money. It was ridiculous. And at that point, I was walking around with a shit eating grin, like, "Yeah, boy."
Your day went from like, damn, I hate everyone to damn, I'm fucking great.
I was walking around with that quote unquote big dick energy. And here's the crazy thing, somebody else ended up like trying to piss me off, and I just went, "Fuck you, I'm rich." Which got
Bro,
me into a lot of trouble, but it was totally worth it.
I bet you be fucking like walking around doing the like Toby Maguire Spider-Man dance and fucking Spider-Man 3.
Dude, it's Bully Maguire, technically. The freaking memes, bro.
I love the fucking Bully Maguire memes, dude.
Here's the thing. I think a lot of people have also referenced during our gameplay of Call of Duty. Oh, actually, maybe we should talk about which version we ended up getting into. I ended up getting into the Call of Duty franchise through Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, my first Call of Duty game. Fuck. Um, I want to say it was probably Call of Duty World at War. Pretty sure. And the person that got me into World at War was who the fuck was it? Um, honestly, it was probably there's like two different people. I apologize, everybody. I'm like fucking just mind boggled at the moment. I think it was okay. It was my good friend Walter. I'm pretty sure he was the first person to introduce me and our other friend Darian to Call of Duty in general. And World at War was one of the first ones because he was a big fan of the Call of Duty zombie games and shit like that. So that was kind of it. That was the first one, and then after that point, I think it was like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, the Modern Warfare games. I mean the good ones, the originals, not the fucking reboots. I'm sorry for anybody who plays the
Don't
newer
apologize.
gen
You have
Call of Duty
nothing.
games.
You have nothing to apologize for, dude. Don't apologize. Take it back.
I just wish that
Dude, take
when
it
they
back.
I'm not sorry. No, I just wish that when they rebooted these fucking Modern Warfare games, that they just would have made it still the same, but just changed a little bit. You didn't have to change a bunch of bullshit. It's just, anyways. Point is, yeah, those were the first couple of Call of Duty games. I loved Black Ops 1 and 2. That was, I think, personally my favorite Call of Duty series of all time. The original Modern Warfare series was really good too. Oh my goodness, though. The saddest moment in Call of Duty history, in my opinion, is John Soap McTavish from the Modern Warfare series actually, spoiler alert, getting killed in Modern Warfare 3. That was one of the saddest fucking moments in Call of Duty history. And dude, I remember talking to Walter about this, and I can't remember. I think he said he cried a little bit. He usually is not a crier, bro. He's like very strong-willed like that. But for me, yeah, I fucking cried. I was like, how dare you motherfuckers take away Soap, but you can't kill fucking Yuri? You can't kill Yuri, that Russian backstabbing bastard? Granted, he redeemed himself. He redeemed himself at the end of the game. So I respect that. But fuck that, dude. It should have been Soap and Captain Price as the last two motherfuckers to beat out Makarov. That's how it should have been. But it's
But
okay.
here's the thing.
You know.
Here's the thing. Without that little push, it wouldn't have made Makarov's demise that much better.
That is true. That is true. Because I'm sure everybody
I was
felt the
so
same exact way.
I was so satisfied when I finished Makarov.
I just felt relieved. It's crazy. Like, I know it's just a video game too. Like, some people that are probably going to watch this are going to be like, man, y'all are tripping out over some fucking video game. But no, dude, it's different.
You have to. It's something that you have to play.
Yeah.
Here we grew up during the times when the Modern Warfare and Black Ops franchise were just starting to pick up a lot of steam. They were getting into, well, there was a lot of controversy specifically with Modern Warfare 2 because of a specific airport mission. And here's the thing. Even though technically those games, well, we know that they're fiction, we know that they're not real, but they are based in they're heavily based in reality, and the writing that the team back in those days had, it was amazing. They really knew how to tell a good story, especially through a video game. This was I think, excuse me, people even thought about doing the whole video games as movies thing, like you're playing through a story. It was kind of controversial back in those days because everybody wanted to play a video game just to have fun. They didn't want to have any like extra stuff. But then it wasn't up until that series that people were truly invested in an actual campaign for any series at all.
That's very true. Yeah,
Uh,
it's all about the experience. It's really just all about the experience. And once you're in it, once you're in that shit, man, you feel the feelings that are going through a certain character. You're you're experiencing what could be. Like, imagine just being in the middle of a fucking war and your longtime friend for over God knows how long, over 10, 20 years, maybe even longer than that, gets killed in front of you and there's nothing you can do about it, really. It's just a fucked situation. So this is why I love video games, man. This is why it's just one of my favorite things in life, because
you can get so
you're
immersed into a story.
oh, easily. Um, just even like another example for a video game that just has told a very tremendous, good fucking story. Detroit Become Human. Uh, just to give long story short of like the storyline, Detroit Become Human is basically about how uh basically human-like robots that kind of have been taking over the world a little bit. Not taking over the world, it's more just like that's like the new gen thing. That's the new that's a new sort of thing where these robots can kind of become like your companion, your friend. Unfortunately, if you really think about it that way, your slave, like your house cleaner, that sort of thing, if that makes sense. So that's basically kind of it's aimed towards that in particular, and how the negative feelings and actions from humans towards these robotic human figures makes them start feeling human emotions, and they start snapping towards these humans that are treating them badly, and it becomes a big like us robots are humans too, and you guys need to treat us the same way as you would as a human being. And it just becomes a all out war between humans and robots, pretty much. It's one of the craziest games I've ever played. But oh my god, Miguel, when you fucking mentioned this game to me, I'm so glad you did.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing about Detroit Become Human. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite titles by Quantic Dream, which is the company that developed it. Uh, the thing that makes it so unique is every choice that you make matters. It's one of those games in which you need to choose what exactly it is that you're going to do. Whether it's a good thing, a bad thing, you need to actually question your morals. You can't make a whole, you can use logic, you can use emotion, and depending on what you choose, determines every single outcome that you're going to experience throughout the game. Like, let's say you were to choose like the worst choices possible, you're going to get the worst ending in the game, the quote unquote bad ending. Whereas if you decide to truly immerse yourself into a more human and more emotional role, you might end up getting the best ending, the true ending, but that's not a guarantee because there's like so many things that you got to think about. It's it's a really good game as well. Here's a little interesting thing that you guys might like to know about Detroit Become Human if you haven't played it. Uh so in the main menu, you're greeted by an android named Chloe. She looks pretty human like. And throughout the gameplay, like as soon as you're going to log off for the day or when you're logging back in, after a specific period, Chloe is going to start talking to you directly. And that right there is such a good attention to detail because at that point, before you can start or before you can end, you got to make a decision whether you let Chloe go and live her own life, or you keep her as your companion, but in return, she has to erase all her memories. So she's pretty much just resetting herself, self deletion. That I think that's where the term technically comes from, where you're just starting from scratch. And if you decide to keep her, then the freaking the way that she reacts towards you and that she communicates to you, it's very deep, and you feel like really, really, really bad. I'm
Yeah.
here's at that point, like I felt so bad. Even though I know it was a game, I felt so bad when I decided to keep her around just because I thought she was interesting. That when I went back and I replayed the game for like the remainder of the playthroughs that I ended up doing, I let her go because I felt I did not want to have her stick around. I wanted her to be free.
Yeah, so I was gonna say I love how they kind of included that in this whole game in general. It gives it more of a excuse me, like a good character development type of story where you got to really keep in mind of the certain choices that you make. And so the last time I played this game, actually, I got the perfect ending. There was like there was one time where I had to go back on my choice, but otherwise, it was perfect, down to the last minute detail. But I felt so good. I felt so good getting the perfect ending, and it did the same exact thing when I got the choice to either let Chloe go or keep her around. Just let her go, and I felt fucking good. I was like, yes, this is how it is. This is how it should be. No other way possible. As far as just like getting the whole perfect ending goes, but yeah, that game was just fantastic for storyline purposes, especially.
Yeah, you got to give it to Quantic Dreams for creating such a good game. They've made Detroit Become Human is definitely one of their most popular. Their second most popular was Heavy Rain, which is another game similar with a similar gameplay style in which every choice matters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get into it too much just because it's been around for years at this point. But it's one of those things that I would highly recommend that you check out for yourself. Again, it's an old game, so you're not gonna be able to. You might need to get a really old console just to pick it up if you're lucky to find a copy. If not, well, your next best choice is gonna have to be to look through gameplay on YouTube, which thankfully there's plenty of.
Yeah, I think as far as Heavy Rain goes, I know at one point I definitely played it. I thought it was interesting. That was all right. Definitely, like Detroit Become Human. They fucking just knocked that right out of the park. But Heavy Rain was still a good game. But I think I played it just because I had PlayStation Plus on my PS4, and I think it was a part of like the free games that you could play. So if you have a PS4 and you have PlayStation Plus, then you might be good. Even a PS5. I don't know. I don't know because I unfortunately don't have one, but you might be lucky. You should check it out if you have either console. But either way though, yeah. Just great games in general. That's just the more important thing playing these single player games, man. Got to play the right shit that has the good storylines. Another game in particular that I'm also actually excited for because they got the sequel coming out soon is Spider-Man. Holy shit, what a game. Uh Great story, fun to play, so much to do. Kind of reminded me a lot of Batman, the Arkham series, I had a coworker and I talk about that shit today actually, and he asked me which Arkham game was my favorite. I told him Origins. I told him Origins because Origins was it was interesting because it was more on the dark side where it's like police want to trust Batman but they just don't know him enough and they're just sketched out. They're cautious. They're being cautious with Batman. But it just seemed like everybody was against Batman even though he obviously was just trying to help. He's just trying to help the whole entire situation of what's going on as far as like the Joker goes and um all the other main villains of the whole game. So I loved Origins.
Even though
All
Origins is technically considered like the least liked out of all of the Arkham games, it definitely did get the job done. It did tell the a really good origin story of the Arkham universe. But here's another thing that blew my mind. The so Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill were the original voice actors for Batman and the Joker. They've been with the entire franchise since I believe Arkham Asylum, and then in Arkham Origins, not those two did not reprise their roles. Even though I really wish they should have, they ended up getting switched out with one. Specifically with the Joker, he ended up getting replaced with Troy Baker, which I thought he did a pretty good job. But with Batman, I feel like they could have done a little bit better because the voice actor that they chose is Roger Craig Smith. I feel like he did an okay job, but as for a Batman, I really don't think he was that great. But he still delivered a decent performance.
That's true. I actually completely forgot that they had to swap out both of them. God, that's unfortunate. That really is unfortunate. I can kind of see why people had a hard time accepting Origins then. But at the same time, though, man, yeah. I always forget that Troy Baker is Joel in The Last of Us too. Oh, fuck! I just thought about that shit too. Oh
The
my
Last
god,
of Us.
The
Yes.
Last of Us was one of the now. Okay, the only thing I gotta say about the sequel, very fun to play. Again, the gameplay was very fun. You had a lot more to do in The Last of Us 2 than compared to 1. But fuck the storyline. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Storyline sucked ass. Horrible fuck. It just wasn't it, man.
Wait. Before you continue, there's something that I should probably mention. So we're not the both of us are not fans of The Last of Us Part 2. That much is a given, but there is no there's no negative emotions behind the cast or the developers, specifically because we know that they're just doing a job. So there's no hatred towards them. But
Oh yeah.
the story that was written was absolutely terrible. That is what we despise. The story, we don't despise the development team. We don't despise the voice actors. They all did an amazing job, but the story still sucked.
Yeah, I just never understood why they went that direction with this whole story, but I mean, it is what it is. It was still very, very good game. It just, was a little bit lackluster, especially considering just how long we had to wait for the sequel to come out. But that's okay. That's okay. You know, it's still a good game. I know they just did a whole remake for the first Last of Us, and oh, it looks clean as fuck. I wish I could play that shit, but I can't at the moment. So I'll just have to wait. But yeah, if you've never played The Last of Us, I'll be surprised if anybody has not played The Last of Us 1 at this point. But if you have not, please, please play it. Please play it. Even if
And
you're
if you don't,
playing just the remastered PS4 version, it's still good. It's still fucking fun. But if you really do want to get the real, like, you want to see some real facial emotion and shit like that, get the newest one. Get the remake. It just looks so good.
and I mean, the best case scenario, no, or best case, worst case scenario, if you don't want to play it, HBO Max recently released their own TV show, which very closely follows the story that is in the actual Last of Us Part One. They made very few changes, but it's all still there. Especially the um yeah, shit. The very first episode. Uh I'm pretty sure you know. We're not gonna say it because we don't for the minority that is still hasn't seen it or hasn't played it, please do yourself a favor, either watch the series or play the game. It's better that you play the game because it's gonna feel that much more intense.
Yeah, it'll feel more authentic, but the show itself too was really, really good. They did a really good representation of how the game well, the first game. We'll see what happens in season 2, but season 1 really, really good. Good representation of how the game was for part 1. um I like the fact that they changed up a few things here and there just to make it more interesting. And some people have a fucking hard time with this shit, but I don't care. Um, oh god. Um, Pedro Pascal. Okay. Pedro Pascal playing Joel Miller. Amazing job. He did so fucking well. Uh, yeah, there's nothing more I could say. He did so well. Uh, Loved him in The Mandalorian, so I was stoked to hear that he was going to be playing Joel. Um, and I always forget the actress who plays Ellie. What is her name? Damn it. Bella
Bella Ramsey.
Ramsey. Okay, thank you. Bella Ramsey. Granted, I'll admit they probably could have found somebody that looked a little bit more like Ellie, but
Here's
she
the thing.
didn't do a bad job either.
Here's the thing. Originally, the I don't know how much of this is true, but the original actor that they were gonna cast was Maisie Williams.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, and I mean, I like I like that they just stuck with those two in particular is because their relationship is already good from Game of Thrones. They've worked together on Game of Thrones, obviously, and it's inseparable. Inseparable. I think it was just best this way. So some people don't like it because she doesn't look like Ellie. Fucking whatever. It. People are opposed to their opinion, but you just got to look at the bigger picture. That's just how I feel about it. Got to look at the bigger picture and not let something small like that get bothered by you just because it's not exactly the same or whatever.
Man. Although here's another thing. Another one we're going back to games, even though technically we didn't switch entirely off the topic. Uh Another series that uh really resonated with us, not because of the whole of a story or anything. The storyline is really good, but specifically with the personality that the characters had is Devil May Cry.
Oh
That
yeah.
that series has stuck with us for years at this point. Dante's character, in my opinion, was really really funny. He was very cocky, but he knew that okay, if you're gonna write an overpowered character, you got to look at Dante. Dante's the goat.
Man, I remember back in the day when we used to play Smash Bros a lot. I would talk about the fact that they should include fucking Dante in there all the time. And it just like playing Bayonetta always made me think of Dante and I was like, man, having
Here's the
fucking
thing.
Dante in this game, holy shit.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When it comes to Dante in a fighting game, he's playable in Marvel vs. Capcom. But I think the closest that any other game has ever gotten, I don't know. I don't remember the exact if this is correct. I don't know if this is correct. But I think Dante was a DLC character in one of the Soul Calibur games.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Pretty sure you're right.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother trying to look it up. But yeah, Dante in a fighting game, really a really good idea. Especially okay, something that I should mention as well. So the Devil May Cry series has been around for uh years, and technically they've released 6 games in total, but you're only ever going to hear mentions of 5 games. The reason for that is because they're like right in between the release of Devil May Cry 4 and Devil May Cry 5. They released a reboot of the Devil May Cry series. And anybody that has ever tried to play it is going to tell you the exact same thing. It's not great. The reboot sucked. They got rid of a lot of things that ended up making the story, well, interesting. I mean, they kept the core dynamic, but it just felt very bland and it was very, very bad. I don't understand why they tried to reboot the series, especially since, well, the reception that one of the characters in the game, Nero, ended up getting in Devil May Cry 4, although it was negative, I don't think it was enough to try to reboot the series.
No.
Because
Yeah.
here's the thing, in Devil May Cry 5, Nero does come back, and the way that they ended up writing him there definitely tried to stick a little bit more to what was already introduced in Devil May Cry 4. Funny enough, I don't know how invested you are into the lore of DMC, but there is a light novel that was written, and you know the little neon sign that Nero has in his van on DMC 5?
Yeah.
How he ended up getting it was after some time, Dante ended up giving it to him as a gift.
Mm.
So Devil May Cry went mobile, and oh shit, I kicked my computer. And the sign that's on the van was a gift from Dante to like so that he can go out and do demon hunter work.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, actually, we should probably explain what Devil May Cry even is about. I think you should.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think you should. You should take the. You should explain.
Oh, all right. So it's been a minute, so bear with me. But going off, this is kind of just going. Oh well, I should just go off of like Devil May Cry 3, since considering. So keep in mind with the Devil May Cry series, as far as chronological order goes, it's 3, 1, 2, 4, and 5. That's how it goes. Uh, Basically, to keep it very long story short, you got 2 brothers, Dante and Virgil. Um, who had their father, Sparta. It took me a second. I was like, fuck, I can't remember his name. Sparta was a demon hunter. He was the almighty demon hunter. Everybody knew him. He was a legend, basically. He was a legend. He's a legendary demon hunter, and both Dante and Virgil got to have his powers when they were born, and it got to a point where both brothers saw two different sides. Unfortunately, Virgil was pretty much the villain of the story, whereas Dante. I felt like Dante, with his personality and everything, he was kind of more on the feel of not a hero, an anti-hero. That's what they fucking call it. He was more of like an anti-hero, because I don't think he only did the right thing because he knew it was the right thing, but at the same time he was like on the verge of I wish I could just be a bad guy, but I can't. It's just not in my blood. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And they can't see eye to eye, and it gets to a point where they fight each other. They fight each other, and granted there are other villains in this whole storyline. I grew up with Devil May Cry 1. I hated Devil May Cry 2. Honestly, if you're ever interested in playing the Devil May Cry series, don't play 2. Don't play 2. Don't waste your time. Just start off with 3. Start off with 3. Do it the right way. Just so that way you know what's going on, storyline goes. Play the third one first, then play the first one, and then 4 and 5. Skip over 2. We don't talk about 2. It just was
not
bad.
a lot of people talk about. Not a lot of people talk about Devil May Cry 2, but it is important to know what happens in there. So that the lore actually makes sense.
Yeah,
and
that is very true.
To mention the character that was mentioned earlier, Nero. Nero is technically a new protagonist because during DMC4 you don't really get to play as Dante, who is the main protagonist of the first 3 games, as much because they were trying to get breathing new blood into the franchise. So in order to do that, they introduced another character named Nero, who is kind of similar to Dante and Virgil in the fact that he's a demon hunter, just like them. But there is a lot of mystery to that character that usually, it wasn't up until DMC5 that a lot of unanswered questions finally got, their answers. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to explain what exactly happens for those that haven't played the game. But it's a big, big trip. It's, again, something that you got to experience it firsthand.
For that.
Yeah, all right. I think we've actually surpassed the usual recording limit that we set ourselves to. I think this might just be the longest episode we've ever written.
Honestly. Well, the worst part is like we could really keep going, but no, we'll save it for another episode. But yeah, long story short though, this is just a big giant part of our childhood memories as video games, and either being competitive bastards against each other or just having a good time playing good fucking storyline games pretty much. But yeah, the recommendations is there. You got Devil May Cry, you got Detroit Become Human, The Last of Us. I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. I don't think there was.
We've also recommended a lot of good multiplayer games.
Yeah, true.
Given we did also mention a few other things. We're not gonna. There is a little bit more to the whole Call of Duty story that was hinted at earlier this episode. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, so we're not going to get into it. But later on down the line, I'll probably just touch up on that.
Yeah.
So please make sure to hit that follow button on Spotify, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and anywhere else that you might listen to this episode or this podcast. Please give us a follow. And also check us out on social media at It's Miguel _ Perez for me on everything.
And Tahoe Born Calling on Instagram, Twitch. And that's it. Yeah. That's it. That's it at the moment.
Oh, and also maybe I should take this time to plug in my live streaming. I actually recently started live streaming on Kick. So be sure to check me out on kick.com/It's Miguel Perez.
There you go. Bada bang, bada boom.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next time.